The original Romance of the Three Kingdoms novel has inspired countless adaptations, to the point where it can be hard to make these now familiar characters and stories fresh again. But after spending 60 hours with Dynasty Warriors Origins, its rebooted tale of politics, war, and diplomacy felt almost as new as the first time I discovered it. It ups the scale of its battles beyond what even the series has been known for, with more enemies on screen than ever before to truly create that 1 versus 1,000 fantasy. Pair that with improved visuals, a much deeper and more refined focus on its combat, impressive storytelling, and a wealth of post-game content, and Origins has easily become my favorite Dynasty Warriors yet. With Origins, Koei Tecmo and Omega Force have balanced the scales between story and combat. Unlike previous games which had you pick a storyline and then swap between legendary lords like Liu Bei, Sun Tzu, or Cao Cao, here you take on the singular role of a brand new character created specifically for Origins. The trope of your hero being yet another wandering warrior suffering from amnesia is a bit cliche, but it works surprisingly well. This more focused storyline takes you through the earlier years of the prominent Three Kingdoms characters before their rise to glory, letting you travel across multiple provinces and lend your talents to whichever army needs you. And although I did miss the ability to play as those well-known officers like Guan Yu for entire missions, Origins at least gives you the option to take control of them temporarily in some specific levels, which is a nice compromise. There isn't much choice in the early chapters as you join iconic events like the quelling of the Yellow Turban Army and the rise and fall of Dong Zhuo. But that all changes when you reach the midpoint of the roughly 45-hour, if you take your time to do all the side activities, campaign, as you must choose an alliance and lord to join permanently, which shapes your perspective throughout the rest of the story. I first chose the small but competent Shu clan, following Liu Bei's optimism and selflessness through the highs and lows of his rise to power. Thankfully, after seeing the end of one storyline, Origins makes it very easy to either jump back in and replay any battle you want, or restart from specific points in each chapter, letting you see how the story unfolds when you choose one of the other alliances. Throughout the 5 chapters, there are conversations with allies and a secondary storyline that involves the recovery of your lost memories, slowly explaining the Wanderer's role in the grander tale that unfolds. His story and those with allies are filled with engaging conversations and cutscenes across a large cast of interesting characters, which adds levity and intrigue to help balance out the more exposition-heavy dialogue that focuses on the events of each battle or various betrayals and alliances happening around them. The only real downside and oddity of your main character is that he's often emotionless, and when he does emote, it is extremely subtle, which sometimes hurts the emotional depth of certain story moments. He also doesn't speak except for generic shouts during battle when you dodge, parry, or take down an officer.
You stand on the battlefield of your own volition.
As you encounter other prominent warriors in battles, you will occasionally find them afterward on the world map, allowing you to deepen your bond with them. Each bond has multiple levels, and progressing through them provides bonuses like collectible coins that offer regular rewards as you grow your collection.
And with that, it's good to make your acquaintance.
The final bond level even unlocks a more intimate cutscene between you and that character, and these conversations ended up being some of my favorites. Koei Tecmo certainly put a little bit more romance into the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, and I, for one, couldn't be happier about it.
No one but you has ever provoked such passion in me, and no one else ever shall.
They say war never changes, but the weapons of war sure do. You may just begin with a sword and some very simple special attacks, known as battle arts, but you'll not only unlock more options as you go, you'll also gain proficiency with each one in order to unlock new combos and stronger abilities. That system encouraged me to keep using weapons I otherwise might not, even if my initial experience with them wasn't great. For example, the Wheels weapon, which is one I've enjoyed in the past, just didn't seem to have the wave clear or damage potential of weapons like the Crescent Blade or Gauntlets when I first unlocked it. But after increasing its proficiency a bit, I eventually discovered its potential in staggering enemy officers and its ability to shred through their defenses. There are 8 additional weapon types to unlock, either by defeating specific generals or purchasing them in shops, and I generally found myself with a new one by the time I had gained 3 or 4 levels of proficiency with my current one, preventing combat from ever getting stale. Each weapon has a distinct identity that fills in nicely for Origin's lack of switching characters, especially when you can swap between them in the middle of a mission to gain proficiency with multiple weapons per stage and adapt to the evolving situation of a battle. While every weapon is designed to work in all situations, there are inherent benefits to using something like the wide-hitting lance against crowds. Meanwhile, whenever I found myself locked in a duel with a powerful foe, it was time to bring out my gauntlets thanks to their ability to easily knock up and juggle my opponents until it was done. Every weapon has its own set of battle arts, which consume a resource called bravery and range from wide sweeping attacks to powerful repeated thrusts to various counterattacks. The more powerful and exciting ones even give you the ability to summon small tornadoes that sweep up enemies, make spires of earth that deal constant damage to anyone touching them, or, one of my personal favorites, create a laser of light fired from your fingertips that can pierce and knock up groups for as long as you hold the button down or until you run out of bravery. Bravery is accumulated by landing hits on enemies, parrying strikes, or perfectly evading attacks after unlocking a specific skill on the skill tree. Parries and perfect evasions look better than ever and come with large benefits in combat. Parrying attacks immediately opens up enemies to counterattacks, ending their combos and making them susceptible to knockups. Meanwhile, perfect evasions generate bravery more quickly as you chain dodges to restore more with each combo. These mechanics add depth to the combat and help keep fights interesting beyond just seeing how many KOs I could get while slaughtering armies. In addition to your battle arts, you also have access to the all-powerful Musou attacks that this series is known for, as well as a rage mode that refills your bravery instantly, restores health on each hit, and enables an even stronger ultimate Musou attack. After all these years, the spectacle of these moves finally match their power. The power fantasy of quickly devastating huge hordes of foes with ease is one of the things I love about Dynasty Warriors, and I'm happy to report that feeling is still alive and well here. However, as you turn up the difficulty, it also becomes increasingly important to utilize defensive options at your disposal, which adds satisfying wrinkles for those who want to face them. Mastering these techniques is important on the higher hero difficulty and essential on the ultimate difficulty that unlocks after completing the main story. There, enemy combos will quickly deplete your health, and the more aggressive AI isn't afraid to attack you from multiple angles at the same time, meaning one wrong move can easily lead to mission failure.
This can't be.
I had a blast taking on this added challenge as I replayed previous missions, making enemy officers stronger and healthier, but also dropping higher tiers of rewards.
You really are a dangerous one, aren't you?
Outside of combat, Origins puts you on a gorgeous map filled with mountains, rivers, and forests, giving it the appearance of a living diorama built for strategic planning. That map is filled with numerous markers for missions to complete, skirmishes to take on, resources to collect, officers to talk to, and towns to shop in. In addition to the main story missions, side missions offer rewards like new accessories to boost your stats, while skirmishes are bite-sized 2 to 3 minute encounters that are great for earning extra money or completing the various challenges given to you by other officers. Most of these challenges are easy tasks like killing 100 enemies with strong attacks from a spear, but they were also always worthwhile to complete as they rewarded me with humorous or deeper conversations with some of my favorite characters and provided bonus skill points to unlock the next thing on my skill trees. If Dynasty Warriors Origins is meant to be a new beginning, it's off to a masterful start. It doesn't just have the largest amount of enemies the series has thrown on screen at once, it also deepens its combat, improves its storytelling without getting in the way of the action, and provides a healthy amount of replayability and post-game content, all while looking better than ever. Your amnesiac hero is a bit too much of a blank slate at times, but the impressive ensemble cast made this story sing as I grew to care about the characters around him, big and small. Origins is both a great entry point for newcomers and a triumphant return for veterans like me who felt the last few entries had become stale or missed the mark. It feels like the series I once loved is finally back. For more, check out our reviews of Marvel Rivals or Path of Exile 2. And for everything else, stick with IGN.
You can handle this.